Hello, good sir.
Hello.
Welcome to the biggest, the most anticipated, critically average episode of the year.
Or ever.
The biggest movie
Probably ever.
ever. We've been waiting for this for a year. But on top of that, we've been waiting for this event for 10,
11.
5, somewhere in there.
Well,
Whew.
yeah. Been 11 since Iron Man, so.
All right, this is Critically Average. I'm Will.
Elijah Hill.
You can
Don't know why
find
I
us.
said my last name.
You can find us on iTunes, Castos, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and at Podcast Average on Twitter.
And we have Facebook, right?
You have Facebook, just type in Critically Average. Okay. So clearly we are talking about Avengers Endgame. Dropped tonight.
Yep.
Episode is dropping tonight if iTunes will refresh in time. We're recording it. It is 10:30. We watched the movie at 6:30, which is the earliest showing unless you got into the fan event, which we didn't get into the fan event. So this is as early as a podcast can physically go out on this movie unless you're an early screener.
Yep.
Okay.
So we should feel honored.
So we'll talk more about it at the end of the episode because I don't want to bog down on that, but I just wanted to tell everybody we're working on getting a Patreon set up with some really cool tiers, just because we run this for fun.
Yeah.
And if you want to support us, you can support us. If you don't want to, by all means, don't worry about it.
I mean,
but we just thought it'd be fun.
listening is good enough.
Exactly. Just showing that you care and listening to the episode. But it's just something we thought it would be fun to throw out there, and we wanted to do some extra content, but to do that we need to have a place to put it that it's a little more exclusive. Yep. And so we have some ideas going on there, like sticker packs and postcards and Q&As. If you donate at any level, you can send us a question, and we'll have Q&A.
And our don't forget to mention our highest level reward.
What's the highest level reward, Elijah?
You
Me.
will 3D print something of the viewer's request.
Yeah, of a certain subset of things, and then if you want to request outside of that, I guess you can. If you're gonna pay for that, you can kind of request, but nothing crazy. I've made full-sized Star Wars helmets.
But you made an RPG, the Fortnite one.
I've made a full-size RPG. It's sitting on top of the bookshelf out there.
Right.
It doesn't fit on top of the bookshelf to give it, but none of that. But I will 3D print you something personal, and I will design it and paint it and make it look real, make it look fake, whatever you want. So we'll talk more about that at the end. But be on the lookout for that if you want to. What's up?
It was something Brooke said.
Okay, cool. Let's get straight into it, my friend. So this is spoiler free, but really just go watch the movie. Don't watch the movie.
Don't listen to this if you haven't. We're gonna try our best not to spoil anything, but
and if we do spoil anything, I will cut it out because I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? If we slip of the tongue, but we will make it very clear when we are switching from point A to point B. And I'm gonna have a piece of paper right here, and I'm gonna write down the timestamp when we switch to spoiler, so that if you don't even want to get close to it, or if you don't even want to listen to the spoiler-free review, you can go straight into where we just dump everything onto the table. So, beginning, did it live up to the hype?
Yes.
I think it did too. I don't think that's a spoiler saying that.
I mean,
I think it broke all conventions, all ideas of what anybody had this, like Kevin Feige said, he was like, this movie is going to be completely different from what any of you guys think it is. I think that's true.
Oh, it was. It definitely was.
Definitely was. Definitely tons of twists, tons of interesting plot points that no one saw coming, you know?
Yep. Even in, like, when I heard people try to, like, predict stuff, like, I don't think anybody got anything right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's somebody out there that hit it right, nail on the head, because they're lucky as hell. But, like, just 15 minutes into this movie, you're like, well, okay, I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea how they're going to fix this.
Yep.
And, so, as a pure film standpoint, right, I think it's the strongest of the entire MCU.
Yeah, I think so, because most of the other hero movies lack that sort of like full circle sort of
Yeah,
closure.
like for example, Thor Ragnarok is a good example. So it's a good movie,
Yes.
right? But the realm of the movie doesn't really have stakes. It doesn't have anything. But it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to watch. The acting is amazing. You know what I mean? The visual effects are amazing. But it's just not really like there's not really emotional stakes. There's some plot holes here or there, and there might be plot holes in this movie. We literally just walked out. I haven't deciphered every little bit, but as a front to back story, plot, intrigue, emotion, all that, it is perfect. It's better than most Oscar level movies, Oscar nominated movies. And honestly, I think it should be nominated this year.
Yeah.
Because I can't see anything else coming out that, even if you're not you have to, first off, let's just get this out of the way. You have got to be a Marvel fan to watch this movie. You're gonna have no idea.
You'll have to know. I would say you would at least have to watch Infinity War.
Dude, you had to watch a lot more than that.
I said at least.
You need to watch more than that.
But you can't just go in unknowing into this.
You have to know. Listen, anybody can watch any movie without watching anything before it. But if you do, you're literally going to be sitting there like looking at the ceiling because you have no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
You know? I would suggest that you watch the entire MCU if you haven't seen any of them before watching this movie. Honestly, it's the homework you have to do.
No, it really is. Which it did feel like a gift to the people that have.
Absolutely.
Like
it was
us, for
definitely
instance.
It was definitely like, listen, if you've been here all 10, 11 years and you've stuck it out through thick, through thin, and then lately through the greatness, here you go. You're welcome. You know what I mean? And a thank you from the fans. Like, thank you for finally, or not finally, thank you for having the ideas and the thought to even give the fans what they want. And I think the most interesting thing is there are fan servicey movies, right? This doesn't even feel like a fan service movie.
No, it doesn't.
But it does do fan service, you know?
Yeah, it's weird how it is, but isn't at the same time.
It packages it in the most interesting way I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to... I can honestly probably speak for like the entire audience that was there with us. Maybe even you. Correct me if I'm wrong or chime in, but like you felt for every single character in this.
Absolutely.
And you felt like like I'm sure there wasn't a dry tear or a dry eye in that entire theater either.
Unless they were just disconnected completely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, even if you not caught up in everything, you can understand like this character loves this character for this reason, and it's sad what I'm seeing happen to them.
Exactly.
You know, because of what happened in Infinity War, these characters their lives are being torn apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it shows on screen. And dude, I tell you what, Jeremy Renner, wow.
Yeah.
I had really low expectations for him coming in because of the arm sleeve, because of the
hairdo.
Weird hairdo, the scenes, you know what I mean? All this kind of stuff. Holy shit. Was I wrong to judge him? Because, dude, he nailed that performance.
Oh, man, yeah.
He nailed it.
I mean, like what you said earlier about like the nominations or awards.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could even get some acting.
I think it should, yeah. I think Robert Downey Jr. should be nominated for actor in a leading role.
Really, you would pick him?
Dude,
it's hard to pick
who do you
one.
Pick?
I think you would do like a...
Can you do an ensemble? Can you do a team?
A symbol?
Okay, slow down there. No. Can you do that? Can you?
I don't know.
Can you do that?
Ever happened. Why not though? This broke molds.
Screw it. Let's do it.
You want to let people care about the Oscars again or something? Let it be like that.
And it's not like
Is he hungry?
I guess.
Sounds like he's trying to get food.
It's not even that they should be changing it because they need to recognize comic book fans, anything like that. Like this movie is good enough to be recognized.
Well, let's say it's not. I mean, it literally just came out.
Yeah.
4 hours ago.
Yes.
And we looked it up, 280 reviews.
Yeah.
It's a solid. Is it spoiler to say the score?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't want to know.
It's certified fresh.
I mean, everybody thought it was gonna be certified fresh. It's good.
It's a very high certified fresh.
It's a good score.
Yes, but how many? And I predicted. I'm sure it's not that far of a prediction, but it's going to be the biggest movie of all time with the most money of all time.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest movie of all time for movie's sake.
Yeah,
because it shows that this is possible. This can be done, and this can be done without screwing it up, without failing, without ruining it. It can be done. You can spend 10 years building a story and having it culminate, and I don't want to say wrap up because that's kind of a spoiler, and it's not. Don't think that's what happens because it's more complicated than that.
It's very complicated.
It can be done. I mean, it can be done.
But I'm saying it would be so criminal for the Academy to not, if it's like this highly rated by critics, it's made the most money of all time. Yeah. You know, it's a culmination. Like,
it's got some of the biggest actors in it, period. I mean,
of this generation.
Dude, the credits at the end, they're not, it's the cast credits at the end are not your typical credits. That's all I'll say. But it goes on forever. It's like, oh my God, there are so many people in this movie. Yeah. So acting is amazing. I mean, you don't even think for a second about the visual effects because they're so flawless.
Oh, they're so good. I had one little qualm, but that was it.
I'll ask you what that is later.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a spoiler, but we'll still talk about it later.
Is it the helmet?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll ask you then.
No, I'll say it. It's nothing spoiler. Yeah. It was just during one important scene. It was just really dark. Like, almost too dark for me.
Okay.
Like, literally dark as in the sky and the lighting.
I understand that.
That was it.
I understand that.
I was like, I just wanted a little more brightness.
That's fair.
If I understand, you're going for a tone.
That is a very slight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that, if that's the only thing I can nitpick right after watching this.
Exactly. Visual effects is amazing. Cinematography is amazing. What else? I mean, the story is...
Oh, our Six Stones?
Well, no.
That's what we base them off of.
Yeah.
If that's what you're going for.
I mean, there's no reason not to go see this movie. Just go see it.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you're probably like, okay, get over with it. We get it. We've already seen the movie.
No, let's fan or not a fan of Marvel, we have to take down Avatar and Titanic.
Dude, I think it's going to take it down in pre-sales alone.
I mean, I looked it up. It made $100 million in China. It made $167 million with just today. Before anyone even seen it.
Isn't that the max of
I don't know.
There's not a seat available in any of the theaters.
Dude, it was packed when we went in and went out. People were coming in, and it was a line formed through the mall. Oh my gosh,
our movie theater was full of people. Every single. So our movie theater, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but we have the Dolby to the right, we have the IMAX to the left, and then we have the two biggest theaters right adjacent to those, right? All four of those had Avengers on it, and I know for a fact in the back there are multiple theaters with Avengers running on it.
Yep.
It's not even one showing at every few hours at the movie. It's multiple showings all being sold out on one night. It's going to demolish. They're going to make so much money. And good on them.
It's rightfully deserved. Unlike Avatar and Titanic.
Exactly. Avatar got the money because it was something that nobody had seen before.
Yeah.
Right? And then Titanic, I guess, is because it's about the Titanic and it had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. But, yeah, without a doubt. This isn't a spoiler, but it is kind of a spoiler to how much I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give it its ample time before I set this in stone. It's number one.
Your favorite movie of all time?
It's number one.
I think it is.
First Man really caught me. I love that movie, and it made me cry, it made me laugh, it made me happy. But this movie did all that 30,000 times over.
Oh yeah,
3,000 times over. And man, it was like watching two First Mans back to back.
Right.
That's why I think First Man's my greatest movie of all time. Why is watching two back to back?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
the same amount of emotion and love for a movie back to back because it's 3 hours long.
It did such a good job of like making you want to cry, like sad tears and like joyful tears, and then laugh at the same time.
Yep. It was just a perfectly
balanced, as all things should be.
All right, well, let's get out of this spoiler-free realm.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, do you got anything else you want to talk about in the spoiler-free realm?
I don't know.
I just don't even want to. I feel anxious talking about it right now because I just have so many things I want to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just go see it. That's it. And if you're still listening to this, just book a ticket and go freaking see the movie. Like,
if there are any left.
Yeah. By the way, this is a very spoilable movie.
Yeah, there's a lot that can
I
be
feel
spoiled.
Infinity War was not that spoilable because if you just went everybody dies, then you're just like, okay. You know what I mean?
You still don't know who.
I guess, but then the list of that is so long. It's like, this movie is very spoilable. There are multiple events that if you screamed them out after the movie, you would be mugged. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So don't be an asshole. Save it for a few days. If you got something you want to talk about, save it for a few days. You know?
Yeah.
Package it in a format like this where you warn everybody and you can't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't tweet about it.
Yeah, just
don't text about it. Just don't spoil it.
Don't. Like, even if Brooke asked me about it, I'm going to be like, no, I would take you to see it before I tell you anything.
Exactly.
Because she's seen Infinity War.
I think we have plans to see it already before our next episode. So, yep.
Who's we?
Me and you.
Oh, okay.
Together.
I didn't know if you meant me and you or you and Megan.
I don't plan on taking this to Megan to this. She needs to do her homework first.
Oh, okay.
And she has a lot of homework to do now because I was just going to show her the big movies. No. You
well, I was
get
thinking
all of them.
Yeah, skip the Hulk. But you can.
Yeah, the Hulk doesn't matter. But you know the sad thing?
What?
That's spoiler. Continue.
I was thinking, like, man, you could get away with watching Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and maybe Civil War. But no, I'm saying I thought that at first. But I was like, no, you really do need to watch everything.
You need to watch everything.
Because there's just so much.
There's so many things you'll miss.
There's so much emotion between characters that just watching the big ones doesn't fully get.
Doesn't give it to you.
Mm-hmm. Like Natasha and Kat, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to watch Winter Soldier to get, like, their relationship.
Absolutely.
More than you would in the Avengers movies. Because there's no time for that, you know?
Avengers and then Civil War.
Yeah, because she helps.
Their relationship is strained in Civil War, right? But then she helps them, which builds that bond, right?
Yep. That trust. All right.
And that's not a spoiler. You see that Cap and Natasha are together.
Well, they're
trying to.
The only two really trying to fix everything.
Yeah, they're the two leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Yep.
All right, let's get out of this realm.
All right. Be warned.
Okay.
You have been warned.
We will give you an ample 30 seconds. Yeah. Well, alarms, everybody. Spoilers from here on out.
Yes.
Turn it off. Time code is... Sorry, I just hit my mic. Time code is 1853.
Wow. I'm surprised we talked that long about...
See? Told you. All right. You've been warned. One last time. Leave.
Warning.
Okay. How'd you like McDonald's?
It was good.
Yeah, dude. I was so dehydrated.
Oh, man.
Me and you
we
both.
did our best. I had a vanilla Coke today, and you had...
I had one sweet tea.
Yeah.
And I
went
then I went for a run. And when I got back from that run, I was like, oh, this is bad. I shouldn't have done that.
At least you showered, though. That helped.
Yeah, absolutely. I pulled it all in from my pores.
Yeah, there you go.
You sent me a text today. You said, be sure to watch what you're drinking today.
I'll read the exact transcript.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Well, you said you were in class, which I did not expect.
Oh, I literally outburst in class. I was laughing.
I said, I texted you at 11, basically noon today, and said, remember, go easy on drinking today. And you said, one sweet tea, that's it. Yep. And I responded, that's too much already. If you aren't dizzy from dehydration, you're doing it wrong. Spoonful of salt is what you need.
I was fine until the spoonful of salt. I was like, oh my god, that sounds awful yeah. So we went and got food after because I had both. I mean, 6:30 is when you eat. So
well, I didn't eat till I texted that to you when I was eating. Yeah, that's why.
And a guy got up and went to the bathroom in the middle, and I just went to him and said he needed a spoonful of salt. Oh man. Okay, that is ample time. If you're not out of here yet, get the fuck out. Okay.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Where do you want to start?
The beginning.
Let's start at the beginning.
So, a long time ago, we made predictions of what we thought the things were. Yeah,
so I predicted that it would start just anywhere in the realm of the last 10 minutes of the other movie, and just kind of recap the snap.
Yeah.
In some sort of way.
Right. And I predicted it would be Nebula and Tony picking off where they left. Nebula and Tony.
On Titan somewhere.
Or
in a ship or something. Yeah.
Just them. Yep. In general. I was close.
You were very close. You were one scene away. Off. So we start out. Okay, I told you this in the car. I was wondering before the movie started, right? You have that anticipation, especially in Dolby, because they run that little Dolby thing.
Yeah.
And
this was black. Now this is black.
Okay, we've had Dolby Cinema for like 4 or 5 years now. You can get rid of that now, you know. So I was like sitting there very anxious, and I was like, I wonder how long I'm gonna make it before my eyes water up.
Dog.
With emotion. And literally, I see the end of an arrow coming out of a bow, and I went, gosh darn it. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I know what's happening because the only reason I knew what was going to happen is because it's dead silent. Mm-hmm. It's just the actors talking. It's just the ambience. And I was like, oh no, I know what this means.
Yep.
Dude.
It starts off with Jeremy Renner, Clint Barton.
Yep.
His family's having a picnic in his backyard, basically. He's teaching his daughter how to shoot a bow.
Yep.
And then he goes to some nice family talk, some banters.
Yeah, some banters.
Yeah.
Who likes mayonnaise on a hot dog? Yeah, but so he sends her to get her arrow after she hits pretty close to the bullseye. Mm-hmm. And his, like I said, Jeremy Renner he just shows so much emotion in this movie.
Yeah.
And he just starts out, and it's like exactly what I think he would do. So he starts out at
logical response,
and he's just super like, "Where'd you go? You know what I mean? Are you behind the tree?"
He looks for his daughter. We didn't really get her name. Lori.
Yes.
He's looking for Lori, and he doesn't find her. Then he looks for his other 2 kids and his wife, and they're gone.
Yeah, and you can see where he switches from dad mode to like Spec Ops mode.
Yeah.
Hawkeye mode, where he whistles. He's like, "Boys, where you at?
Yeah.
Lori." You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, shit. And, dude, I buried my hand in my hair about 4,000 times in this movie because it's just like the emotion is just strong.
Well, I had my hoodie, and I took it off very early in the movie, and I just kept covering my face with it.
Yeah, dude. It's just
did you notice it showed the dust floating away?
Where?
For Lori.
Yeah, anyway, I saw that.
Yeah.
It didn't show the kids.
Mm-mm.
By the time he turns around, the kids are gone.
Yeah.
And so...
But he turns and you just see dust.
So I was wrong. I made a prediction that I don't think his whole family dies, and that's why he kind of went off the hinge because there's like, because I don't know if you know this, but like, if a kid dies, your chances of getting divorced go like through the roof.
Really?
It causes so much tension because it's just like a connection of both of you, and now it's gone. And so I was thinking that his wife would survive, and they would just be like,
right.
You know what I mean? It would just send him over the edge. But I was wrong. And after seeing it happen, I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Clint in this movie has just gone batshit.
He's gone arrow. Full arrow.
He's gone arrow, and his reasoning for it is that his family, who has done nothing to no one, and he has spent his life protecting people, and his family's the one that dies, but these Yakuza and these Mexican cartel men are alive. And so he's literally just murdering people.
He's on a killing spree.
And I could not be more happy.
I know. And it's even like Rhodey and Black Widow are like terrified almost of what he is doing.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we almost don't want to find him of the trails he's leaving.
Yeah. And I think they should be a little more accepting. Okay? Black Widow doesn't have any family except for the Avengers.
Yep.
Rhodey, I think maybe might have,
I don't know,
like a father and a mother, right? But we don't see anything. So like, they don't understand what it's like to have everything you've built, everything you've worked for in your life just disappear on you.
Yeah.
And you can tell it snapped something in his head. Snapped, no pun intended. Where he's just like, he is pissed off because Thanos' entire ideal is that he would rid 50% of the universe. And it's just like, but you have no moral of the 50 that you cut, you know? So, which I think plays back really nicely. Now that we're in spoilers, I can say whatever I want. Plays back really nicely to the end when Tony snaps and gets rid of all the bad guys. It's a good...
Big spoiler
there. if you're not out of here yet, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
It's a good juxtaposition, right? Whereas Tony did the rightful thing. He got rid of the people that didn't care, the people that don't have any morals, any right? Whereas Thanos just got rid of anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Then we move on to what?
Tony and Nebula.
And they're we've seen all this in the trailers, really, but
yeah, there's a really good scene. Like Tony's trying to like humanize.
Yep,
Nebula.
This is a tearjerker. This is a tearjerker to Marvel scene, Marvel what's it called? Logo to funny. And so he's just trying to teach Nebula how to be a human.
Yeah, they're playing flick football.
Yeah,
and she's like, she's not comprehending.
She's
like
robotic
the point.
about it.
Yeah, very. And yeah, Tony's just being Tony.
And then we get that scene in the trailer where he's talking to Pepper through the helmet, and that scene goes a little bit longer
than the trailer.
Yeah, and
more talking.
And he goes to sleep.
I thought he died. I
thought he was. I mean, I think it's implied that he's on the brink of death. Like he is.
Well,
really
he's like
pushing it.
Oh well, he's even like malnourished.
Yeah, he's malnourished, and when they say like the oxygen goes out tomorrow, that means there's minimal oxygen in there.
Yeah. So
he's not breathing oxygen-rich air. You know what I mean? Yep. He's breathing shit air on top of being 22 days without.
Well, he said there was like infection from that stab or something.
So he's infected. He's sick. Well, I guess it's the same thing. He's sick. He's malnourished. He's not getting the right amount of oxygen. He's tired as fuck. He has nowhere to sleep because this is metal ship, right?
Yep.
He has one person to hang out with, and that is a robot, which to Nebula's credit, she's had a big arc, and she's coming around. But, dude.
Question about her later.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, what scene were you talking about where it was too dark?
The fight.
With Thanos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then all of a sudden he gets... Nebula picks him up and puts him in the chair, and like you said, you thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there's a scene right before a big light shows up from space. I thought he was bleeding out of his mouth because for some reason his mouth's really red right there.
Okay.
I thought he was gonna like drip blood, and I was like, oh shit, is Tony gonna die?
Could just be like dryness, sort of. Like
yeah, I just think it was just the film set period, like just made him look like it's red. But a big light shows up and
Captain Marvel
shows up.
The second good, the least of the Captain Marvels.
What do you mean?
Shazam.
Oh. Yeah, so she shows up and
just tows him back.
She basically just carries the ship back.
Mm-hmm.
And they land
at Avengers headquarters.
And I think this is one of the best emotional scenes in the whole movie. It's because before Tony gets like help, like with some IV and stuff, there's a scene between Cap and him where you get to see Tony like stripped down to just pure Tony, right? He's like, I lost, and Cap's like, dude, we lost.
Yeah, we lost.
And I think people might take the next few scenes with Tony as being kind of ill-construed or not hit true to his character. But you have to remember, the man is 22 days without ample food.
Yeah.
He's been infected. Like,
He's
he is
deranged.
not right. He's deranged. You're right. And he just showed up, and he's learned that everything on Earth is just as bad as it is on Titan.
Well, and he's also kind of getting, like, bombed with questions as well, same time.
Indeed. And but that scene between him and Cap, I think, is really important because it proves everything that we know about Tony from Infinity War.
Yep.
Which is, he felt that this was his life's fight. Like, this was his destiny, was to defeat Thanos.
Right.
And so when he shows up and he sees all his friends and he has to be, what he feels, he has to be held accountable for his failures in front of all these people that, oof. That's rough, man. That's rough.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's the real Tony. Like, he strips down to Tony. Like, he takes off the reactor.
True, he does. He hands it to Cap.
Yeah.
And the scene I'm talking about where people might misconstrue it is he goes a little bit batshit.
Yeah.
And starts just blaming Cap. And he's talking about how he wanted to cover the world in a iron shield, which wouldn't have helped anything, by the way. No. And he knows that, you know what I mean? He obviously learns that later, or obviously comes to his senses, right? And but I understand, like, he thought he had it all figured out, and he thought he had the right plan, and I have to think that he feels that everything that happened in Civil War is a waste of time. Like, they should have been focusing on Thanos.
Exactly.
But they didn't know he was coming. They didn't know the consequences, right?
See,
Tony was just trying to do their best.
Like you said, he had visions of it.
But he didn't want to tell anybody.
And it wasn't necessarily Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah, he just has visions. What happens next?
Tony passes out.
Yeah. And they get him some help and everything like that.
Yeah. And then Captain Marvel, after that, is like... She's like, I'm going to go kill Thanos.
Yeah. And
then they're like, hold on there, new girl.
Yeah, she's super zealous. She's super zealous. She thinks she's just going to murder him.
Yeah. And then they start planning. Well, they find out Thanos used the stones again.
Yeah.
And they tracked that signature, like the energy signature that caused to find him, the garden. That's all Nebula told him.
He's on a garden planet. We don't really get to figure out what that is. I thought it was Titan originally, like that he fixed Titan.
I poo-pooed your idea.
Yeah, you sure did. I think it should have been Titan, by the way.
But it was a dead planet.
But he has the fucking Infinity Stones.
You saw those things.
That doesn't mean anything. He can fix it. I just think it would have been narratively more interesting if in the snap, right, he also fixed Titan. Because that's the whole reason he did this thing, is because his world's dead.
Well,
right?
Because they didn't listen to him.
Maybe the Garden Planet is kind of like Titan. It's like the better version of Titan. Do you get what I'm saying? Like what Titan could have been.
Maybe.
And that's why he goes there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But that's irrelevant. Who really
so
cares?
They find out he used the stones again. They find where he is, and they all suit up.
Well, Nebula tells him.
Yeah.
So Nebula's very important in this movie.
Yeah, she is.
Which I think is good because I've always not liked Nebula, and then I improved on her in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. See, this is why you have to watch every single one.
Yep.
And we'll get deeper into why you need to watch every single one later, but there are little things that you just won't even know if you don't watch every single movie. Okay, continue.
So they're making a plan.
Yeah, so they basically, and I was super caught off guard by this.
How fast they went?
Not how fast, but just how how willing Cap is to just full send it, just go. All right, they just all crank up and get on the what's Quill's ship's name?
Oh man,
they get on Quill's ship.
Yeah,
Rocket. So we got Rocket, Black Widow, Rhodey, Thor, Hawkeye. Captain America, Hawkeye. Nope.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Sorry. Nebula and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Tony doesn't go with them. Tony does go with them.
No, not to Titan. Or not to
That's right. Tony is asleep.
Not to the farm.
You're right. So, I think that's all of them. I may have missed a few here and there.
Did you say Thor? He's kind of important.
Yeah, he's super important.
So they get there, and they Thanos is making some, lunch or dinner.
Dude, I wanted to turn to you, but this is super early in the movie. But I wanted to turn to you and go, so Thanos is Shrek now, huh? Did it not look like
No,
Shrek?
It did.
He's like making some soup. It looked like Shrek.
Some weed rat stew?
Exactly. He's like, but it parallels Shrek perfectly, right?
Yeah.
Shrek is a big bad. He just wants to fucking live in his shack, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now Shrek may not have killed half of the universe a second ago, but he just wants to live in his shed, in his swamp, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was very funny.
Right.
But yeah, he's sitting there, but he's limping.
Yeah.
And he's still scarred from the whole
his whole
right side of his body.
Left side.
Sorry.
Yeah, his whole left side, up to like his
whole
left side of his
everything.
face, his left shoulder, and his whole arm are like scarred. And he has the gauntlet like forged to his arm.
I think, by the way, I just want to, this is like a film kind of snobby thing. I think it destroying half of you is a narrative and a visual device for a lot of things. So, one, you're destroying half of the universe in the snap, right? And it destroys half of you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to wield that power, you have to sacrifice half of what you are.
Basically, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of parallels there.
A lot of parallels.
And consistency.
Also, when you get done, half of you is burnt and half of you is okay. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of like a little narrative metaphor for these characters that use the two characters that I'm talking about that use the thing to snap in a detrimental way to kill things. It shows their dark side and their light side. Like Thanos, he has the right thing in mind, okay?
Yeah.
He wants everyone to be able to live in a prosperous world. He just goes about it in the Killmonger way, which is just the wrong way. Right. He has no sense for anyone but himself, right? And then Tony spent the first 5 years of the MCU making mistakes, messing up, you know? Mm-hmm. But he spent the last 5 years doing everything he can to improve and to be ready and to help and eventually save the day.
Yeah.
I just think that's a parallel. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
So this is without a doubt the biggest, like, what the fuck few minutes in the movie.
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody really predicted this.
The guy to my left literally went, "What?"
So they get to the farm.
Yeah.
And so when Thanos is just in there making his food or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just the Hulkbuster just comes from the floor and punches him.
Someone comes in first. Doesn't either
Captain Marvel,
Rhodey or Captain Marvel
Rhodey, I'm pretty sure.
Fucking demolishes his hut and him, and then
Hulkbuster just comes to the floor.
It's really funny.
So and then everyone's trying to hold him down, and they're successful because Thanos is weak. You know, so he's not strong.
And the glove is like, it's like a mangled arm and it's fused to his hand. And then all of a sudden they hold his arm out. And you're like, oh, what are they going to do? Take it off his hand? Nope. Here comes Thor with the fucking...
Thor just swordmaker chops his hand off.
You can tell Thor is
tired,
very distraught in this movie. Yeah. The whole movie. And in this, he is majorly distraught.
Until... He doesn't say much until, like, this scene, really.
Yeah.
Besides cut his hand... I like this one about Captain Marvel, which is in the trailer.
They cut his hand off, and they have him beat. I mean, literally, they can do whatever they want to him. Yeah. Right.
But then Rocket rolls the gauntlet over, and all the stones are missing.
Yeah. So they question Thanos on what he did with the stones, and Thanos says, "I destroyed them," and they go, "You can't destroy the stones." He says, "I used the stones to destroy the stones."
Yeah.
Which is crazy. First off, and second off, they're questioning him. You know what I mean? Like, where are they at? And that's not the truth, and all this. And then Nebula walks up and goes, "My father is many things, but he's not a liar." And you can just feel the tension in the room just fall.
Yeah.
And just everyone's like, "Damn it."
Yeah.
I think we lost. Like it's another like we lost. We didn't do it. We beat him. I mean, we have his hand cut off. Everyone's holding him down. He ain't going anywhere. But we still lost.
Yeah.
And so.
And then Thor.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
He says, "I am an inevitability."
Yeah.
I am inevitable.
I am inevitable.
Yeah. Which I think is really cool. That was good.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good writing right there. And then Josh Brolin's delivery of it is very menacing. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then Thor, he's kind of a hothead. They're still trying to ask him questions and get what they can out of him.
Yeah, they're just beating a dead horse, really.
Yeah.
Like, the stones are gone, and they are gone.
And then Thor just decapitates
Bang.
Thanos. Says, I went for the head. Because everyone's like, what are you doing? You know?
He says, I went for the head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the end of Thanos in the 2020 time realm. 2018.
I think it's current.
It's whatever.
Anyway. Because that was like a month after that.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get a black screen that says 5.
Black screen. 5 pops up.
And that's it.
So everyone's 5 days.
5 months. No, dog.
5 fortnights.
5 years.
5 years. The movie theater had one of the most interesting reactions. There were gasps. There were...
Like, you could hear hearts drop at times in this movie.
And then
that was one of them.
I physically went, what? And the guy next to me went, what? Like, very loudly. And everybody was just like, 5 years?
Yeah. Which is insane.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to basically like... it's like an overview of the city that they're in. It's in...
yeah, it starts flashing through
New
different
York.
cities. It goes to Detroit. It goes to New York. It goes to San Francisco. And it's just...
And everything just looks dead. Like, there's fog. It's dark and gray.
Yeah, and you just
there's
have
no
to...
movement.
You just have to realize, like, if 50% of the people went away, things would fall apart very quickly. Mm-hmm. Not to mention...
Well, like they said...
airline pilots, you know what I mean? So there's planes dropping all over the United States.
Like,
and
baseball's not a thing anymore. Because it cuts to the scene of Captain America's leading, like, a support group.
Yeah, like
AA, but
like an AA, but for people that
lost people or can't get over it.
By the way, we get
Anthony
one of the coolest cameos. I slapped your knee about 10 times.
Yeah, it was like Russo.
Yeah,
it was one of the
Russo
brothers.
I think it's Anthony.
I'm not sure, but it was one of him, and he's talking. He's like, I went on a date, and he was just talking about how every conversation they had was about missing people or
exactly.
And he said, I cried when I got dessert, you know?
Yeah, he says he talked to the guy, and the guy cried before they brought out
the salads,
and then he cried before dessert, and then and then what's it called? He gets done and he's like, but we're going on a second date, so it's good. I was
and
just
Cap
like,
gives this great speech as usual.
Cap, dude, he delivers the greatest lines.
Right. And in Russo's thing, he's like, we talked about how much we miss the Mets.
Yep.
So it's like,
there's no sports anymore because everybody that ran sports,
played,
did sports, and
produced anything like that.
Everything.
People are just gone.
And if all those people are gone, then you don't even have people in place to teach other people how to do things. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, there are things that are...
Like, the world has stopped.
Exactly. And that's how it would happen. Like, that's totally how it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts. I can't quite remember what's next after that. I think it goes to the storage. No, it goes to Black Widow.
She's making herself a sandwich.
Yeah.
That's in here. Yeah. So, Black Widow's sitting there in Avengers headquarters talking, and she's got on the, like...
Yeah, she's got holograms of all the people left, really, that are helping out. So Nebula's by
Nebula,
herself.
Rocket, Captain Marvel, Rhodey.
Yep.
And then Wakanda, not Shuri, the right-hand woman to Black Panther.
I know it. I'm just waiting for you.
Okoye. Yeah, I wasn't going to get that, so I was waiting for you.
Okay. Yeah, Okoye.
So all of them are talking, like, they're
all trying to fix things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then nothing really happens, and Captain Marvel says she's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's taking. She basically says everything that's happening on Earth is happening on other planets, and they don't have Avengers to help them.
Yeah.
She is very she's very gruff. You know what I mean? But I understand. Like, she's trying to help the universe, not Earth. You know?
Yeah.
So, and Earth has Avengers. Well, has very little of them that are left, but they have the Avengers. You know? So she's the universe's Avenger. So,
mm-hmm. And so
because the Guardians are all gone.
mm-hmm. And then
besides Rocket.
And then they all cut off except for Rhodey, and Rhodey's like, we found basically like the whole cartel in Mexico dead. Yeah. And
which leads me to believe that only her and Rhodey know about it, because he waited for everybody else to get off.
I think so too. Or that was like a side mission that they're working on.
Exactly. That's her
secretly,
thing. That's her thing. Covert intel, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so they find, or when they're trying to get Clint, and they know Clint's still there.
Yep.
And you just see Black Widow break down. That she knows her friend's going through this.
And this sets up first off, bringing Clint back. It's been a while since we've had Clint in anything.
Age of Ultron.
Exactly.
Civil War.
Yeah, he kind of comes back a little bit in Civil War, but
he fights.
But we haven't had emotional Clint
since Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, like having anything to do with his character arc or anything, right?
Yep.
And so it starts to rebuild this relationship between her and Clint. Like, she cares a lot because they came up in the same system. You know what I mean? And they are the two that can relate the most, because they are ordinary people doing extraordinary things, right?
Yeah.
Whereas okay, sorry. We had some technical difficulties. We lost a little bit, but we're back. What's up?
Yes. So we were just talking about Clint and Natasha's relationship, and then Ant-Man comes to Avengers headquarters. Boom, figure out time travel, kinda. And so they go to Tony at his cabin. We find out, boom, she has a daughter. He has a daughter. I'm just speed doing this because we just spent like 20 minutes talking about this.
Yeah, well, let's hit the major points. So, first off, it's kind of important that Tony has a daughter, because...
Yes, big shock in the theater.
Because, big shock, and because that's what he wanted at the beginning of Infinity War. And it's important because it has implications with the whole time travel thing, because he might lose his daughter if they go back.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if he dies in the past or something.
Exactly. So Tony and Pepper got really lucky that they both lived and they found each other.
Yes.
So they asked Tony for time travel, and
Tony says no.
Yeah, he says his newfound, like he has a daughter now and stuff like that, and it's just like, he just thinks it's a fluke, like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't even want to entertain the idea of doing it. So then the Avengers are like, okay, we got to go get a bigger brain.
So they get the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Great scene
with the picture.
Well, he's Professor Hulk.
He's Professor Hulk now. He's got the big glasses. He's got the sweater on.
He's got a plate, or he's got like a table full of food for him.
Yeah. So Banner, in the 18 months prior to this
Gamma
scene, has fused him and the Hulk together.
Yeah. And we mentioned this great scene. The kids come up, ask for a picture of the Hulk.
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man's like, "You want a picture of me?" And nobody knows who Ant-Man is. So, and then we get the iconic Hulk dabbing, which is
hilarious, because it's like Marvel is like full on connected to meme culture now. Like, they get it.
Yeah.
They can do it ironically, like in Into the Spider-Verse.
The end credit scene to that, yeah.
Yeah. Because you take credit for that, because you're the one that.
Yeah, I did say that earlier, but I share. But it was like, yeah, he was doing it all wrong. He wouldn't even look in the right direction.
He held it for way too
But he's
long.
holding it, and you're like, what is he doing? And he just says dab, because these are really young kids.
Yeah. I thought he was like doing like the Archer. The Archer like thing?
It's like the Hulk Hogan sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger
or like
body pose.
The soccer slide with the Roman Archer pose. Yeah. And then he just goes, dab, and I was like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah. Very in character for the Hulk, or Bruce Banner anyway. And
then we get what I think is one of the best scenes in the movie, and that's where Tony is washing dishes, and he looks up at what I'm pretty sure it's a picture of his dad.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And you think he's looking at a picture of his dad, and he just reaches behind it
Mm-hmm.
And it's a picture of Peter.
Yep, them two together. And
anything with Peter and Tony is like my
Your
bread
favorite.
and butter when it comes to water in my eyes, because that, dude, it's such a good relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they've woven together with Peter never having a dad and Tony wanting to be a dad really bad. And so this is kind of his like dry run into parenthood. And we were talking about how Tony has lost so much.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost people. He lost his dignity. He lost all these things, right? He lost his fight that he's been fighting with forever. He's seeing his vision come true, right?
Yep.
And he also lost, like, confidence in himself as being a parent, you know, that he could actually do it. And now that he has a kid, it's like he knows he can't mess it up this time. So there's a lot weighing on Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then right after that, I guess seeing Peter again fuels him to try, you know, to try and save everyone. So he
starts working on time travel.
Yep, and he figures it out.
Yep. And you can almost tell he doesn't want to, but does at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely taxing on him.
Yeah, he's like, Friday, run this for me. Don't worry about time, or if it fails, it fails. No big deal. And then shortly after that, it's like, analysis complete, and it worked.
Yep.
And then he says shit, and then his little girl sitting there says shit.
Yeah, I forgot about the shit.
Morgan,
that was really
is her name.
Yeah. And then they have popsicles, and she loves him to 3,000.
Yes, this is why you said that earlier.
Which is going to hurt your soul later, by the way.
Yeah.
Just want you to know.
Yep. And then him and Pepper have a sit-down talk.
Yeah. This is going to sound really weird because I just said this to you, but I find it really interesting because in Infinity War, Pepper, and in previous movie, Pepper is always against Tony risking anything. You know what I mean? She's always telling him, you don't have to be this big protector and everything. And I think 5 years in a cabin together, she's really learned.
Well, they went through the snap.
They went through a lot of stuff
That would
together.
be life-changing.
And so Pepper understands why Tony is so focused on fixing things. And now her character has changed because of all this. And she is now more willing to almost encourage Tony to do what he can to help the world. Mm-hmm. Which in this case is time travel.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
So
she's also like, holy shit, you figured out time travel in a night.
He was nonchalant. He was so nonchalant about it. He was like, I did it, by the way. Did what?
And
time travel.
What's it called? So Tony drives up all quick and fast. And the Avengers have figured out time travel as well, but not as well as they think they might have.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have the right person, and it showed. And so they sent Ant-Man in to test it, and he came back as a teenager, a baby, an old man. Yeah. You know.
Also, great Paul Rudd scene where he's like, someone peed my pants. Yeah. I don't know if it was me, baby me.
It was baby me or old me. Might have just been me.
Might have just been me. I thought when
he
you
was
said
actually really good in this.
Yeah,
as
Paul
well.
Rudd.
He had more time because he hasn't had a lot of interactions with the rest of them.
And he's been jokes. But this movie gave Ant-Man a place in the emotional realm.
Yeah,
right, like with his daughter and Hope Van Dyne. I really felt their relationship in this movie more. There was something I wanted to say about this scene. Oh, the CGI, the helmet. I felt it was a little funky.
What helmet? Ant-Man's?
Yeah. Like when he first suit he puts on, it kind of looks like a fishbowl. It like fishbowls his head.
Okay, I can't quite remember.
But it doesn't really matter because they evolved the suit immediately and it looks good after that.
Yeah. Oh well, the whole thing was like super baggy, and I don't think it was supposed to look clean and crisp.
Well, it clearly didn't have Tony's touch. Mm-hmm. Right? You can clearly tell when Tony shows up, he starts making suits like Iron Man suits, and they look dope. Yeah. And that's all the white suits that you see.
Fitted and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Trailers. So Tony shows up, and then they start doing testing.
Yeah, they start narrowing it down. They start fixing it. They get new suits and everything like that. And their plan is to...
Well, then they have to do first they go get Thor.
Well, they think about it. Their plan is they know time travel works. Right? Or they know that there's a potential. So they're like, okay, let's rally up the Avengers. That's what
because he says, "Yep, we're gonna have a team, right?" And he said, "That's the plan."
So they send Rocket and Hulk to go get Thor, which I think is perfect because you get when they go get Thor, you get the relationship between Hulk and Thor that they build in Ragnarok. And then you get the relationship between Rocket and Thor that they built in Infinity War. It's like the two most perfect people to go get Thor.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
And so
they go to New Asgard,
which is awesome, by the way.
Do you know where it is?
Ireland.
No.
Where?
Norway.
Why?
That's just where it is. You remember in Ragnarok when Odin died?
Norway. Norse gods.
Do you remember where Odin died?
Yep.
That was Norway.
I see. Interesting. I did catch that. I was like, this looks very similar to where, the big cliffs with the ocean and everything. Yeah. I was like, this looks really similar to where Odin and that whole scene was shot. So Thor is fat now. Yeah,
it hit him hard.
I love how he doesn't. So I was expecting the minute he got either Stormbreaker or the hammer that he would just immediately be ripped again.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, you can totally tell Chris Hemsworth is still ripped.
Yeah.
Like his abs are still.
Well, he carries himself like he has no fat.
Yeah, and his arms are huge. Mm-hmm. They're not fat. So they're huge.
Thor is like 100 pounds heavier. He's got his hair's a mess and everything.
He's a
slob.
He's fallen down the deep hole. Yeah. He has accepted the fate. He killed Thanos. He avenged everyone that died, but there's still a hole left.
Yeah.
And so he's hanging out with, and I was really excited to see Korg. And then one of the saddest scenes happened, and I'm like, oh, why they?
He was playing Fortnite.
I wish
ruined forever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wish they would have done the sad scene and then had Korg come after. But before they did Korg funny first and then sad scene, and I was like, I didn't even get to relish in the funny Korgness. I just immediately got sad. Yeah, so Banner's like, Thor, we need your help. We might have a way to beat Thanos. And Thor did not like that.
No.
Yeah. Which, if anyone, I feel Thor and Tony, I think, are Thor, Tony, and Cap are the three biggest affected by Thanos, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Thor lost his brother. He lost Heimdall. He lost half of all Asgardians before.
He's lost everyone in thing.
Before everyone got 50%. So there's probably like 20 Asgardians left, right? He lost his father a few weeks before. You know what I mean?
In Ragnarok.
I mean, he has gone through the ringer. And so the fact that he's off the deep end. Oh, also he avenged everyone, right? So he failed by not killing Thanos when he should have. And then he kills Thanos and completes his goal, but it is a hollow victory because it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't bring anybody back, and Thanos being dead really doesn't affect anything. He would have been doing the exact same thing on the Garden Planet whether he was dead or alive.
Right.
So literally Thor trying to fix everything with alcohol, video games, and living a new life makes total sense to me. You know?
Yep.
Fortnite.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, okay, they're trying to get the kids. It's fine.
It is a kids movie, but
I wonder how much Fortnite paid to get in there.
I don't know.
I bet it was quite a bit.
Probably. It was like
you know what? Maybe they don't because they actually are in cahoots with Avengers.
Oh, you're right. It's probably a mutual thing.
I bet it's a mutual agreement.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So you get Thor.
They get Thor with beer. They tempt him. They're like, there's beer on the ship. And he says, what kind?
You can see he's coming around.
Yeah.
Like he's being a little bitch about it. He's like, I don't want to do it. But you can tell he's like,
yeah,
if there's a chance.
Yeah, he knows.
You can see it on his face. He's like, this life is not worth living without trying.
Yes.
So they go get Thor.
They head back to Avengers
They basically
facility.
call all their banners. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, they're basically calling all their banners. So they're bringing everybody to Winterfell. They're gathering everybody up, but there's one person they got to go get. Because he's not exactly on board.
So Natasha has to go get Hawkeye.
Yep. So we get this really cool scene in Japan.
Taking down the Yakuza.
Yeah, where he's just murdering people. And then he gets this pretty cool fight scene with a sword. Mm-hmm. And basically just murders a guy.
Oh, it didn't show it, but he went straight down with the sword, implying...
Dude, I tell you what.
To the head.
This movie rides a knife edge. Like, when they cut off Thanos' head, I was like, wow, we're here. This is happening. It rides a knife edge of being a little too much, which I love. I'm like, I wish they would have pushed the R. Can you imagine? Just the backlash. Oh,
man.
But yeah, so it's fine. It's a great movie, PG-13. I understand. You have to make it. But yeah, so it's off screen, but he is just murdering people. And Natasha basically tells him, she does, okay, I do have a problem with the scene. She says, killing these people is not going to bring your family back. Like, no fucking shit, Natasha. He knows that. Mm-hmm. That's why he's murdering them. It's because he needs something. He needs to feel something. You know what I mean? I'm sorry you don't have a wife and 3 kids to empathy with him, you know?
Right.
Empathize with him. But, dude, don't tell him it's not going to bring his kids back. That's not what he knows that. He doesn't need to hear that. Yeah. Do you? I kind of forgot how he actually got him to come. Oh, I remember. He says, don't. This part was sad too. He goes, don't tell me there's hope, and she goes, I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner.
That's right.
Which that hits home.
Yeah.
Because all he needed was hope to keep him from falling off the deep end. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But now it's been 5 freaking years. He's like, and I like how he gets back and he is like gung ho. He's like, I want to do it.
Yeah. He's like, he volunteers to do the test.
Yep.
For the quantum thing, and it sends him to his house where his kids and wife are still alive. He tries running in the house. Yep,
and he sees the baseball bats or the baseball gloves, and he smiles, and then he hears. And then there's another heart-wrenching scene on top of another one where he says...
Yeah, because he's not there. He can't stay there long, so he runs...
It's just a test. It's just a test, so he's only supposed to stay there for 5 seconds, which is like 5 minutes for him.
And he runs into the house, and as soon as he walks in the house, he like gets teleported back.
Yep.
So it works. And so they're all suiting up.
Yeah, so
first they brainstorm of... Because they have to figure out when to go back to get these... stones, because that's what they do every time they've ran into them before.
Yeah, the plan is formulated to... I thought this was really interesting, because I didn't think anything near this.
I didn't either. It was
a
very well thought out sort of thing.
Oh, it's genius. Like, whoever wrote this movie is a genius. Yeah. You know, it's a collaboration between Kevin Feige and the Russos and the writers and everything. And the comic book, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, I'm sure, had input on it and everything. And that's what these guys do for a living. They make interesting stories because that's what comics live off of. If the story's not interesting, you're not getting it done with the visuals, okay? Yep. Comics don't move. So, and so the idea is to go get the stones in a time where they're not being used. That's really important. In a time when they don't really explicitly say this, but they can't be being used. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has to be a time that they know
because
where they're at.
Because if they get it while it's being used or after, that would affect something.
It would affect the timeline.
Yeah.
They need to use them and then put them back.
Yep. That was a big key element.
Exactly. That way they don't mess with anything in the timeline. What they do is they get the stones, they use them for their job, and then they bring them back. And that's it. Because the stones in their universe, their timeline, are gone. So they have to borrow other stones.
Yeah.
So the plan is to send Hulk, Cap, and Iron Man and Ant-Man to New York because there's three stones there at one time. The Scepter,
Mind, space, and time.
Yes.
They're all there.
Because the Time Stone has been in New York for a long time.
With the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah. And at this time, it's under the
Ancient One.
The Ancient One's possession.
Yes.
So, and then the other plan is to send Gamora, Nebula, Rhodey, Black Widow, and Clint all together, and then they would take the ship. Black Widow and Clint would take the ship to Vormir. Yeah. And then the other plan is for Thor and Rocket. Oh, by the way, Vormir for the Soul Stone, Power Stone for Nebula, and
Morgar, something like that.
Whatever, Mogar, I can't remember.
There's an M and a Gar or G something R.
Something like that. Yeah. And then Rocket and Thor are sent to Asgard
to get the Nether.
Which
ether.
In hindsight, the ether. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe should have just not sent Thor. maybe not, because actually there's a reason why they needed to send Thor.
What?
The hammer. Which, by the way, I take full credit on picking up on that way early.
You said Mjolnir to me as soon as they landed.
As soon as they landed there, I was like, oh, Thor's here. Mjolnir's still alive because this is...
Well, and he personally needed to go there.
He needed it personally to speak to his mother, to give him the fight and the drive he needed to complete the mission.
Yeah. So
because Thor is not gaining... I don't think he gets Heimdall or Loki back.
No, he didn't get anybody back.
Exactly. So Thor loses his mom, he loses his dad, he loses Loki, he loses Heimdall.
Yep.
All these people that he really cares about. He doesn't get Jane back. He doesn't get to retry that relationship. Nothing. Like, Thor literally walks away from this situation with the Avengers, and that's it.
Yep.
You know? Whatever's left of them, by the way.
Yeah. So the first jump we get is to New York in time 2012 of the first Avengers, of the Chitauri attack.
This is the fun part of the movie.
Oh, it's real fun here.
Oh, it gets so cool, dude. You get to see the scenes of...
Yeah, it does that, the iconic... The spin around of the Avengers. It shows that, and then it just, zooms out, and then, around the street corner is them teleporting there.
Yep. And so their job is to go get the space...
Hulk has to go get the time.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them... Captain America gets the mind.
Yep.
And then Ant-Man and Iron Man get the
I thought it was really interesting that they sent... I thought it was really interesting that they sent Hulk to go get this time stem.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a good marrying of one of the most scientific, knowledge-based characters in the entire MCU with one of the least scientific.
Magic.
She is connected to... magic, you know what I mean? And
they're fighting each other on science versus magic, at one point.
And eventually their two realms come together. I also love that the minute he says Doctor Strange gave up the thing, she's like,
oh fuck.
She's like, he's the best.
He's supposed to be the best of all of us.
Exactly.
Which I was like, oh shit. And she's like, okay, take it.
That was really cool. Yeah. I thought that was an awesome scene. So he gets that pretty easy. Cap has this really interesting scene where he gets in a fucking elevator.
Dude, I thought they were about to do that scene again. I was gonna be so hype. But we kind of get equally as good one.
They can't do that again, because if the elevator reaches the bottom and everyone's punched up, how do they explain that?
Yeah.
But
we did get a...
It was a great nod. And again, this is why you have to watch all of them.
Yes.
If you don't watch Doctor Strange, you don't understand why they're at the Sanctum Sanctorum. If you don't watch if you don't watch Winter Soldier, then you don't understand the elevator scene.
Right.
If you don't watch Avengers, you have no idea where the fuck they are to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Or why those 3 stones are there.
Yeah. And one thing about the Ancient One is really cool. She doesn't play dumb. She knows, you're 6 years too early or whatever.
Yep.
And... she doesn't know anything about Thanos because she can only see until her time.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened after she passed.
But she understands. She understands, and she gives the audience information that we didn't know.
Yeah.
That the stones are important to the fabric of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get rid of one of them, the universe doesn't work properly.
Right.
The timelines mess up. So somehow someone's timeline is getting demolished. Like their timeline is gonna be fucked up if you don't put it back.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we get.
So she leaves a lot of trust in the Avengers.
Yep. With the promise that he has to bring it back.
Yep. Which they do.
Mm-hmm. Then we get Ant-Man and Iron Man.
Yeah.
We get the classic. They make fun of Captain America's suit. It said, "That does not compliment your ass at all." He said,
"That's America's ass."
That's America's ass.
So funny.
Yeah.
And dude, we get Captain fighting Captain.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And he knocks him down. And he goes, "I can do this all day, buddy." He goes,
I know.
That was like, we talk about fan service. If you're a fan,
great.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like people were hooting and hollering in the movie theater.
Well, even in the elevator scene, we get a nod to like Nazi Captain America.
Yeah, true.
Where he says, "Hell Hydra."
So
fun. To cover in with those guys.
There's so many little Easter eggs. Yeah, and so you get Cap fighting Cap, and then another that is America's ass right there. It's so fun.
After he knocks him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how he knocks him out like using. You can tell like they're pretty evenly matched. You know what I mean?
I was just wondering.
What's it called? So yeah, Cap gets his stone, but we got a slight problem. So they get the Space Stone out, and it drops on the floor because Hulk goes down the steps.
Well, to be honest, all the extra stuff we didn't see in Avengers was fantastic. Like, it's them after you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was really interesting, all that stuff.
Yeah, and we see, like, Grillo and the other Hydra guy, and then Ant-Man's like, they look like bad guys. What were you doing, you know?
True.
Yeah. All those small scenes are great.
Yeah, they're all
on the elevator, and Hulk's trying to get on, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Take the stairs, bud.
Capacity there, bud.
And
Which,
then
by the way, just jump off the fucking building, Hulk.
Yeah.
You could fix, but then we wouldn't get these next great scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Space Stone, Loki grabs it and teleports because they knock it out of the case and da da da.
Yep.
It's not that important.
So does that mean Loki's still alive?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think that's what they are implying.
I think so. Unless he went down the same path somehow.
I don't know what that means.
But he was still in the prison on Asgard.
I have no idea.
Which takes place after Avengers.
But they take... Cap puts it back. Cap puts it back in, what's it called? Into the army base in 1970. So it's in the timeline and it's not meddled with when they reach New York in 2012 again. Mm-hmm. So Loki's still dead. I think he's dead.
I think so.
Yeah. So
basically they lose the time stone.
Yeah,
but they get the other two from New York.
So they have to have a leap of faith, and they have to take they have to go to 1970 when Hank Pym and his Howard Stark are going to be at the same place at the same time. That way they can get
two things they need.
They can get Pym particles to come back.
Yep.
If they don't get Pym particles, they don't come back because that's all they got. And again, which was a good MacGuffin, a good example of MacGuffin, right? It drove the plot forward, but it made sense.
Yep.
And it also wasn't pivotal to the whole thing. You know?
Exactly. And so they go that you get great scenes with Tony.
Tony and his dad.
He meets his dad. Yeah.
Some of the greatest scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Did they change the actor for?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Well, see.
Well, it's a little bit later, right?
Yeah, it's a lot later. Because Captain America was frozen in like the 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
And this is in 70s, so this is 30 years after that. Okay. So he's a little older, so it makes sense. But Peggy doesn't look any older.
It's the same actor they use in
everything else.
Civil War. And yeah, Civil War when at the beginning when he's talking to his dad in this same actor.
And Ant-Man and everything else besides
Yep.
Captain America, I think.
Yep, Captain America. He's like really, really young in that.
Yep.
Yeah, so they get the space gem from way back when it's in the
where Captain America was created, basically. You little rascal.
I know, right?
Is he sleeping here?
No.
Good.
I mean, sometimes he does, but most of the time, no.
Oh.
Stop. Okay. Sorry.
It's all good.
So they get the space gem from there, and they also get Pym particles to head back.
Yes.
So that's that timeline wrapped up, and then I don't know which one. I honestly have no idea which one they go to next.
I think it's
just kind
Thor.
Of huh?
I think it's Thor. We'll just do that one.
Okay.
So Thor and Rocket are on Asgard.
Yeah.
And try to get the ether out of Jane Foster.
So the biggest beats here are Thor is having a hard time.
Yeah.
And so his mom knows he's there.
Yeah, he's trying to hide and his mom sneaks up on him.
Freaking cool, that's why.
Yeah.
His mom's cool.
Again, don't play dumb like you're not this Thor. You're from future.
Wouldn't it be cool?
He knows where the food
Wouldn't
is.
it be cool to have like a parent or something that was like that omniscient and knew everything, like that was going on with you? You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So
that way you wouldn't have to say it. You could just be like, you know what I'm going through, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and so she gives Thor that drive,
the advice that he needs, and he gets his hammer, and they get the ether, and that timeline goes pretty swell.
Yeah.
To be fair, everything goes great.
The best.
Mm-hmm. And then
it cuts to Mordor. That's Lord of the Rings.
So this is where it gets complicated.
Yes. But it does make sense.
It does. Oh, it makes. I didn't find any plot holes in the first running through, and I don't think I'm gonna find it in the second. They've definitely timelined this, block diagram this shit out. So let's start with Rhodey and Nebula. So basically, Nebula is connected through time,
which makes perfect sense
because
a robot would be if two robots that are identical or the same robot, if there are two of them in the same timeline like that, same time existing,
would have the same hard drive.
They would have the same hard drive.
So basically, it snaps to Gamora before she turns good in Guardians of the Galaxy, and
I think she's good. She just hasn't turned.
Well, she hasn't met the Guardians yet to start that whole arc for her. So her and Nebula and Thanos. Well, her and Nebula are on a mission, and Thanos calls them back to the ship because they found the Power Stone, right?
Yeah.
And then Nebula has an episode on the ship that shows Thanos the timeline, like what's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, she started glitching out.
She has that episode.
Oh,
and so
I was freaking out because I just about busted ass.
You're all good. What's it called? And so basically Thanos figures out what's going on.
Yeah.
And since he figures out that Nebula is working with the Avengers, and since all of her memories are saved, he gets everything. He gets the whole beans.
Basically all of Infinity War.
He knows exactly what's going on.
Yep. Even up to his death.
He's in the past, so he knows his own death, like you just said, and everything.
Well, and he was fine with it.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, okay. That's my destiny."
Yep.
So that throws a wrench in things.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, crap."
Yeah.
Like again, Nebula, you could hear the entire audience like gasp sort of.
Yeah. So Nebula knows. Nebula now is this connected. There's two of her in the thing, and she's connected between. So it gets kind of complicated. But so basically, there's this great scene with Peter Quill, and when that music started, dude, I was jiving. I was like, "Hell yes, dude!"
What's the matter with you? Hey.
I was jiving. I was feeling so good.
Funny because it shows all these angles and stuff we didn't get from the originals, and so it's him singing. You don't hear the real singing.
Yep.
And then Rhodey's like, "So he's an idiot."
And Nebula goes, "Yes." And so they knock him out and get the Power Stone. It's pretty easy. Nebula actually
ruins her hand.
She's a badass, dude. She just grabs it.
Yeah, it like melted her hand.
Yep. So they have the Power Stone, the Power Gem.
Yep. And as soon as they're about to teleport back,
Nebula gets
stuck. Another episode. Yeah. Where
basically Nebula from the same timeline, but Thanos' Nebula basically sends a signal to her to stop her from teleporting back.
I guess, yeah.
Or Thanos does. I can't remember. What an asshole. What's it called? So then we go to Vormir. We all know what's coming,
but they don't.
Or if you are a adept viewer, like you know what's going on, you know what's coming. I knew the minute they were like, we're a long way from Budapest now. I was like, oh fuck, dude, why did they send these two? And I was like, I knew it was gonna be these two because one of them has to sacrifice.
It's not like. Did anyone really know though?
No, nobody had any idea.
Maybe Nebula, because she knew that Gamora died on Vormir, but she didn't necessarily know that's why.
She doesn't know that you have to sacrifice somebody.
Yeah.
So they get there. You get to see Red Skull again. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sitting there contemplating. I love how Red Skull is just kind of like,
no, he's like,
what you gonna do? Yeah. He's just chilling in the background like, I'm just the keeper of stones. I don't really care what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And I felt this was a really interesting scene because
it was.
Because first off, it plays the same theme as it did when Thanos in Infinity War. It's the exact same theme song,
mm-hmm.
right? Which is super interesting. It parallels. But Thanos got rid of Gamora, and Gamora did not love Thanos at all. You know what I mean? But he loved her, and he still gets the stone. And this is a completely different dynamic because they both love each other as friends. I don't think they love each other in a...
Well, he's married.
Exactly, in a relationship way. But, like, they are connected. They truly love each other as friends and as partners and as colleagues. You know what I mean? And I love the scene where they're fighting each other to kill themselves.
They're holding hands, and they're like, they think they agreed, but then Clint's like, I think we're talking about different people here.
They're talking about it, the other one.
Yeah.
So they're like, you have to live. Clint's like, you have to live because I've done horrible things, and she's like, you have to live because
I've been trying to fix this since it happened.
Also, you have more to live for.
Yeah.
Like, you have a family. You have stuff to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know...
And then Clint takes her down.
Yep.
Like a tackle, and then starts running for it.
And they basically just fight each other off. Like, he shoots an arrow, she shocks him, back and forth. And then Clint jumps off, and I was like, okay, that's sad. Clint's going to die, but his family's going to come back. And I was thinking that Natasha would go at the end of the movie and, you know, be like, hey, this is what happened. I just wanted you guys to know that he sacrificed himself to save you. And all of a sudden...
She jumps
and
bat grapples.
Which, by the way, when she jumped at first, I was like, what? Now we're both going to die? What, Red Skull going to bring the thing back? I was so confused. And then she grapples, and she grapples him. This is important. Because if she would grapple herself, then it would have been awkward, right? Yeah. But she grapples him. Dude. Again, Jeremy Renner nailed it.
Right. Because you can tell...
feel the pain.
He's trying with everything within him to save her.
To hold on.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't let go. He doesn't let go at the end either.
Well, she jumps off. Yeah.
She basically forces him to let go.
Yeah.
Dude, so sad.
Yeah.
And when you see, like, when it pans down and she's down there and she's bleeding and, like, it's official, she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first one that hit me. None of the ones in Infinity War hit me except for Spider-Man, but I knew he was coming back. But this is the first one that I was like, wow, okay, that's final.
Well, especially because we just heard the news that she's getting a movie finally.
Yeah, I think I said last week that I think Natasha might die because her movie's a prequel.
Yeah.
Right?
If you want to throw people off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and then everyone returns back to Avengers headquarters present day.
Yep.
Actually, 5 years from present day. And...
Well, let's just... Hold on. So, the Soul Stone, it's kind of implied that the person becomes the Soul Stone.
You could say that, yeah.
I think so, because it literally cuts back, and they all come back, right? And, which, by the way, if you didn't think the scene before was powerful, where Clint loses Natasha, you then get to watch everyone else realize that they've lost Natasha.
Yeah, because everyone.
And so Clint hits the ground, and they're like, "Where is she?" You know, and then you see Hulk realize what's going on, and you
even
see Cap, and you're just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
And then they're down by the lake.
Yeah, and they all come to the conclusion and the realization, I imagine, that she's not coming back. And I love Hulk's anger. Like, he
yeeted a bench.
He yeeted the fuck out of that bench. Like, you didn't even hear it hit the ground. That's how hard he yeeted it. It just disappeared.
Well,
but,
it went over, like, the tree line and stuff.
Oh, it's gone. Like, what if it just showed, like, a scene of just, like...
Or, like, 10 minutes later in the movie, they're just somewhere and it just lands next to them.
Like, in that final fight scene, just like, poof.
A bench.
What's it called? Or it just takes out like, this would be so dumb, but just like, you know that scene where Cap, like, they're all these Thanos minions are running at Cap. If a bench just like and just takes out one of them, and Cap's like all confused.
Yeah.
No.
That would have been funny.
What's it called? Yeah, but you could tell he was angry, but also he's like, listen, she's not coming back.
Yeah.
Clint has made that explicitly clear.
Yeah.
We also know that because Thanos didn't bring Gamora back, and Gamora's not back. They're gone. That's the sacrifice of the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
That's why it's so weird. That's why it's so different. That's why it's the biggest stone on the glove. You know what I mean? It's big. It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like how he didn't just cry and moan and bitch about it. He's like, let's fucking make it worth. Let's not sit here at this lake. Let's go get this shit done.
Yep.
So now they have all the stones. Iron Man makes a gauntlet.
A pretty dope one, too.
By the way, the reason I think it's implied that their soul is in the stone, or they're part of the stone or something like that, is because it shows all the stones, right?
Yep.
And then it has the soul stone in the middle, and you just see Cap look at it and kind of have like a dour face as he's looking at it. You know what I mean? Because he knows what it costs to get that one.
Yep. So they build the glove, and they're like, who's going to use it? They try to decide. Like, a couple of them, Thor, and I think Hawkeye nominates himself, and then Hulk eventually is like,
it's Gamma.
And Thor says he's the strongest, but Hulk's like, I should do it, because he's willing to die for it, you know?
Well, he's also... Hulk is... he's willing to die for it because he's lost Natasha.
Yeah.
And he's also thinks that he might actually be able to survive it because, one, he's the Hulk, and two, because it's gamma radiation, which is what made him, so
yeah,
he should be able to withstand it.
Exactly. So which I was like, how are they going to fit that on him? But then just did like this transformation.
By the way, we missed an important scene. Nebula gets teleported up into the ship. Good Nebula gets teleported up in the ship, and bad Nebula takes the place of good Nebula.
Yes, because she has a gold stripe on her head.
Yes,
she takes off
and gives a Pym particle to Thanos.
Yes, which will come in a minute.
Yes, and so she comes back and acts like she is part of the team.
Yep, good Gamora. Yeah.
So while they're doing this, while they're all involved with the gauntlet, she starts booting up the time machine thing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's implied that she's going to bring back Thanos. Gets a little more interesting than that.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts on the gauntlet, and Tony puts Avengers headquarters into lockdown mode.
Everyone suits up to prepare for whatever is about to happen.
Which, by the way, it's gamma radiation. You might want to move out a little bit further than that.
Mm-hmm. And he makes a little shield.
I love it. He makes a shield for. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he snaps.
Oh, we never mentioned Cap got a shield back.
Yeah, that's true.
He
pulls it out of the trunk and it's got toys on it.
Yeah. Well, he said if I kept this in the garage any longer, it would have got turned into a sled.
Yeah, that was cool, and it was a really cool scene of him giving his sled thing back, because it was definitely like them getting over their differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we have bigger, better things to worry about.
Bigger cause, yeah.
So puts on the glove, snaps, and what's it called? Phone starts ringing. Phone starts ringing, and Ant-Man is
looking out the window.
Is heading towards the window, and he sees it's bright and it's sunny, and there's birds chirping.
Yeah.
And the phone starts ringing, and it's Laura.
Laura. Clint's wife.
I think it was his daughter.
It was someone in Clint's family.
It was his daughter.
Okay.
Because he says like. It
could be Lori, and Laura is the mom.
I think it is.
So.
But yeah, so I think it's his daughter that's calling. And yeah, so he answers the phone and he hears her voice and it just hits him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man gets hit.
Well, yeah, and then it shows Thanos' ship is coming through. Not just Thanos.
True, I forgot that.
So
apologize.
It's like a giant ship just comes out of the thing.
Yeah,
busts a hole through the Avengers.
Instead of
just Thanos?
Just Thanos.
It's his ship, and then his is it Black Order, I think? Ebony Maw, Approximate Midnight.
Yeah, all his minions are with him.
Children of Thanos.
Squidward. You have the right, or the, what is it? Privilege? You have the privilege to be murdered by Thanos.
Yeah.
Please accept your death willingly.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Squidward.
Yep. So, did you say Hulk gets like his right side fried?
Yeah, he gets his whole right hand fried. His whole right arm. It's like all shriveled up.
Yeah. And then, the building.
So basically Thanos just fucking demolishes everything.
Yep.
And everybody's in a world of hurt. And Thanos comes down from the ship and sends Nebula to go get the stones.
And Thanos does what he was most known for before Infinity War.
Waiting.
Just sitting.
And waiting.
Yeah.
Yep. And what's it called? So all the Avengers are kind of in a world of hurt underneath. Ow. All right. You know what? And so what's it called? So they're all in a world of hurt, right? Sorry, lost my train of thought.
Damn.
And Captain or Iron Man gets up Thor and Cap. No, he gets up Cap. Thor's already up.
Yeah, Thor's just standing there watching.
Yeah, he asks him what he's been doing. He goes, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
And so those three take on Thanos. Awesome, by the way.
Yeah. We'll get that in a second.
Okay.
Save that. And then Hawkeye wakes up. Somehow he's uninjured in that. But
he's a badass.
Yeah, it's whatever. And then he gets the gauntlet.
Yeah, so basically it's now a game to keep away.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the gauntlet and stuff away from
And he runs into
Thanos.
He runs into Nebula, and he goes, "Oh, I know you," and hands her the gauntlet, and then she goes,
"Father, I have the."
Father, I have it. Yeah, in her bitchy voice.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
I love how he just kind of scurries in the back. He's like, "What the hell is going on? There are two Nebulas here. There's a Gamora here. Yep. I don't know that green bitch."
Yeah. So Gamora and Nebula show up, try to talk her out of it.
Yeah.
And then bad Nebula tries to kill Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
And then good Nebula kills bad Nebula.
I thought in this scene that bad Nebula dying was going to kill good Nebula as well.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
Did it? And it didn't, did it?
Mm-mm.
No, it didn't. You're right. Which is interesting.
It kind of makes sense.
Well, it's kind of like she went there and they came back together. So I think it's like one. If that network's still alive, I think it's still... Because it's not a person, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, it's a robot. That's why I thought it was more reasonable.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you straight murder a human...
If it was Gamora, for instance, if they were Swiss or something, it'd be a little more difficult.
Yep.
And then Hulk is holding the building as much as he could. Rhodey and Raccoon are under there, and water's filling in, so they're almost drowning.
Yep.
And Ant-Man hears them need for help, so he goes to save them.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I think, I'm going to say this, my favorite, don't know if it's the best yet, probably like the best movie scene ever, starts.
Dude, probably the best 15 minutes in film history begins.
It's probably more than 15. I'm just saying from that point where the three of them walk up to the snap. I think that might be one of the best movie scenes ever.
I think it's the best blank minutes in movie history.
Okay, however many.
I can't think of anything that got me more of a. I was fucking rock solid throughout that entire dude. Oh my god!
I think the entire audience was too.
There are things that I have been waiting for years to see.
Yeah, not just you.
Everybody in the fucking theater, dude. I tell you what. Do you want to do the honors?
No, go ahead.
When Captain America picks up that damn hammer, the place went raucous.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Dude, and he used the fuck out of it.
Oh my. It's like he's been able to yield that for years, dude.
Yeah, well, even Thor got giddy. He's like, I knew it.
Yeah, everybody was giddy. Yeah. It was like one of the most deserved scenes in film, and it was done so right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was that little snippet of him just going ham was better than the Batman.
So let's give
scene.
let's give it some detail. I swear your cat's nocturnal, dog.
Dude, he's nuts. Okay.
All right, so it's them fighting, and there's a bunch of punching and whatever, and then he starts doing one-on-one, like he beats him up.
Yeah, he's starting to kick their ass.
Yeah,
Thanos is.
So it's the roles are reversed this time, where Thanos is putting the axe into Thor's body, but he doesn't actually get into it quite at all. Like he's about to get there, and then it cuts to Mjolnir like rising up, and you're like, oh, Thor's calling the hammer.
Yep.
But then he gets hit with it, and then you see Captain America just...
Well, it keeps coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just see Cap like catch it, and you're
Cap
like,
catches it.
What?
He's got shield and hammer together, you know? And then the whole place just goes nuts.
Oh, but it was just like elation, dude. It was amazing. It was one of the most like community feelings of amazingness I've ever witnessed in my life. It was awesome.
So and he does some cool shit with it too.
Dude, he's like using his shield.
Well, he like throws the shield.
Hold on. Just apologize. We were just getting to like the best scenes in the movie, and I didn't want the cat interrupting us.
So Cap's wielding the hammer and the shield. So he's like throwing his shield, and he'll throw the hammer, and
so it like drives the shield further.
Yeah. Oh man, and then he like does this ground thing.
Yeah.
Like, cause like ground's kind of like a conductor.
Yep.
Or, and so he like whips it up, and then he knocks him down with it, and then just like straight down thunderbolts. He's like Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Dude, when he summoned lightning, I was like, "What?" Like if the hammer wasn't enough, the lightning, I was like, "He's Thor."
Yeah,
he can fly now.
No, he does, because he starts spinning it and like flies at Thanos. Yeah,
he's Thor.
Yeah, and
he's amazing. It was he does that thing where he throws the shield, and then he throws the hammer at it, and it like causes like a sonic boom to knock Thanos down from the back. And I was like, the Russos are fucking genius. I don't know if it was them. I think it is, because they're like, when it comes to battle scenes, they're the shit. But dude, oh my gosh, rock solid. Okay,
Thanos gets the upper hand again.
Yeah, Thanos kicks his ass.
Yeah, and then, to be fair,
which I liked, because I feel like we got a good Thanos being a villain last time, but this time we got to see Thanos as just being badass, like just kicking butt.
Yeah. And then that's Captain America. He's struggling to get up, but he's getting up nonetheless. And Thanos has actually broken his shield in half.
Yeah,
which they hid in the trailers. By the way.
What?
They hid that in the trailers because it showed him buckling his thing back on, but it was a full shield. But in the actual movie, it's half. It's cut off.
And he's like his arm's been stabbed by something.
Was his arm or leg?
It's his arm. It's right here in between the straps. He like rips out a part of the shield that went into his hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Cap is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's got his face is all like ashy and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and he's bleeding, and his shield is half destroyed, and he doesn't have the hammer, or I guess he does.
He got it knocked away.
It's like sitting next to him, but And he stands up, as Cap does. I can do this all day.
He doesn't say that, but basically, yeah, without saying anything.
He stands there, and Thanos goes on this speech, and he's calling down all his minions, and you see some villains we haven't seen before, so you get
some huge ones,
the children behind him, you get everybody.
Yep.
Everything shows up. We got Chitauri from the beginning with the big worm ships. We got tanks. We got spider tanks. It's not looking good.
Mm-mm.
Then you get in his ear, Cap, can you hear me?
Cap, can you hear me? It's Sam.
It's Sam.
You're like, oh, because he snapped, and then you hear someone that's come back, so you know the snap worked.
On your left.
On your left, and then you just see
again. Have to watch Civil War.
You know that yellow ring thing he does.
So you get to see all of a sudden you see a yellow ring, and you're like, "Is it Doctor Strange?" It is.
Not at first though.
Not at first though.
First is
Cap's old buddy, Black Panther, baby.
Yep, Black Panther walks
and you
through.
see all of Wakanda. You see Shuri and Okoye.
Yep.
And then you see all of Wakanda coming out behind him.
Falcon flies through.
Dude, and then all rings start popping up everywhere, and you're like, oh, dude, I was so fucking pumped.
Everyone was going crazy. It's like all the people got dusted, all the people that are still alive.
Dude, and so much happens so fast. Falcon comes back. Winter Soldier comes back. Valkyrie comes through on her fucking Pegasus.
Yep.
Ready to fuck shit up.
Yep.
Pepper Potts
she
comes
as
through as rescue. You get Spider-Man back. You get the Guardians all coming back through one portal.
Yep.
You get Doctor Strange. You get Wong. You get a whole bunch of sorcerers.
Minor characters, yeah.
Dude.
Then you get Giant Man. He saves Rhodey, Raccoon, and
so they're all
Hulk.
back. Oh, which by the way, Rhodey got basically his own Hulkbuster. It's like an upgraded super suit. For him.
It's like thicker and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And so everybody's coming back. Everybody. Yeah. Basically everybody that's ever been an Avenger, anything.
Yeah.
And it's like we finally
Scarlet Witch as well. Scarlet Witch.
She comes back later.
No, she comes back then.
She comes back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember it. It was in the middle of something, so it kind of got like brushed under.
Yep. So, yeah, so they all come back, and what's it called? And then it's like it's awesome because Cap is standing there alone 1 minute, and then the next minute he has everyone that has ever been anything for the Avengers behind him. Calls the hammer back to him, and he goes,
Avengers,
assemble.
We finally got it.
Dude, it took forever. It took 11 years for him to finally say that.
That's crazy.
Dude, I tell you what, we get another running scene where two teams run at each other.
And this is what I said earlier.
I've never been
I wish
more
it was a little more
excited
bright,
in a movie.
but I understand tone. So
I've never been more excited in a movie in my life.
Oh, dude. This is probably like my favorite scene of all time.
It was the most characters I've ever cared about on a screen at one time. Everybody's back, dude. Groot is back.
Oh, yeah, we got the Wasp as well. I forgot to mention her.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's there. Everybody as anybody is there.
Yeah. So we had a giant fight, and then the Avengers are just wrecking face.
So basically the next 15 minutes is just pure ecstasy in movie form.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Remember I was telling you about Game of Thrones on the way there? That you need the scenes of conversations and everything to make the battles meaningful. Yes. This was the meaningful. It was like we have had 2.5 hours of meaningful plot and building and character building and all this. Now, give us the porn. Basically, it's like this is the good stuff, right?
Yeah. The physical payoff.
So good.
Yeah, some great fight scenes.
I love
usual.
And so the goal now is really keep the gauntlet away from Thanos.
Yeah.
And it passes through.
Well, and then Scarlet Witch really messes him up.
Dude, Scarlet Witch goes ham.
Yeah.
I was proud of that because one, it was minimal dialogue for Emily Olsen to mess up. Two, it showed how freaking powerful she is and why they feared her. You remember they feared her? I get it now. And three, you could see the fear start to enter Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he said Avengers Assemble, Thanos was like, this was supposed to be easy. Because he just got done saying he's going to enjoy destroying this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Cap's like, no.
Yeah, and sorry. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically it's a keep away. So it goes from Hawkeye, who has it right now.
Yeah, Hawkeye's running with it.
Yeah, and then he gives it to Black Panther, and then you get to see. I mean, we don't really need to talk about like the stuff that's going on. But
it's
all
better
of a sudden,
for you to watch it.
Exactly. All of a sudden, there's a big light in the sky, and Captain Marvel's back, and she just does her shit where she just flies through ships and destroys things.
Yep.
And she kind of gets her ass kicked by Thanos.
A little bit, yeah. It's a give and take.
It's a give and take.
I would say they're like kind of equal.
But in the grand scheme of things, Thanos wins. And he gets the gauntlet.
Well, he does something really cool because Captain Marvel's holding his hand open.
Yep.
And then he uses his free hand and takes out the power gem and then punches her using that gem. And she's
so cool.
She's out of it.
So cool.
Then he gets it back. And then Iron Man sees that and then jumps on it. And then he swats off Iron Man.
He's literally a half a second from snapping.
Mm-hmm.
And Iron Man jumps on his hand, and instead of acting like he's going to pull off the glove, he just rips the Infinity Stones off.
So yeah, he takes all the stones out, which Thanos doesn't notice, and then he goes to snap, and nothing happens.
Thanos has to pull it back on. You remember?
Yeah.
He like pulls the gauntlet back on. And he's like, ha ha ha. And I thought something was up because I was like, why isn't he? Every single time he's pulled it on all the way, he glows.
Yeah.
And so he didn't do anything. So he snaps, nothing.
Right.
And then so like it's all fun and ecstasy and happy, and then you realize the stakes. You're like, uh-oh. And so it goes over, and the stones are creeping up Tony's arms.
Yeah.
Arm.
Like his thing.
Yeah.
On his. I don't think he had like a gauntlet on or anything, though.
And then he says the 3 words that started the whole damn thing.
Well, because Thanos thinks he has him and says, I am inevitable.
Yep.
And then Tony says, I am Iron Man. And then snaps.
Dude. Wow.
I know. That's a great one.
If I literally, like, my stomach, you know that butterfly you get? It did that because I was like, that is 10 years in the making right there.
Yep. 11.
Man.
And then all of Thanos' army, including Thanos,
gets dusted.
Dusted.
Dude, there was a moment there where Thanos wasn't getting dusted, and I was like, oh, maybe one of my predictions will come true, and Thanos will live, right? And it'll be interesting to...
Well, I predicted Tony kills.
You got them all right. I got them all wrong.
I got 3. I predicted Cap would die, and I got that
But to
wrong.
be fair, I've watched one trailer for this movie and nothing else, and so I've been in
Well, aren't you glad you got everything wrong then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
If I got everything right, then that means this movie's dog shit. You know what I mean? That means it's predictable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh, we forgot to mention. Thanos is fighting with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange turns to Cap, and he's holding up a 1.
Yeah.
Because he asked him earlier, he goes, 1 in 14 million, is this the one? He goes, I can't tell you.
If I tell you, it won't happen.
Exactly.
And then something happens. I think Thanos gets the gauntlet on.
Yeah, he gets the upper hand.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, it's because Thanos has to go through that pain again, and then Doctor Strange holds up the 1, and then that's like the final stand sort of thing.
That's when Tony realizes he has to sacrifice. You know what I mean?
Yep. And after the snap, Iron Man dies.
Yep. So it goes to a scene, and we see Tony is all fucked up.
It was almost parallel to how Spider-Man died, like the position and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were talking. Oh, man.
Oh, dude, that hurt me. I can't make it through the Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good scene, and I know when I go back to watch this one, it's gonna be rough because man, Tom Holland's like, we won, Mr. Stark, we did it, and it's just like you can, and I love that Pepper comes in and kind of like she doesn't exactly push Peter away, but she's kind of like, just let him be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she understands that Peter's like has the right thing in mind.
And we didn't mention, as soon as Iron Man saw Spider-Man, he just hugged him.
Oh, dude, that was so good. When he comes back, his husband, he goes, "This is so nice, Mr. Stark." And it's just like, oh, that was such a good scene.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't feel so good. I passed out and woke back up, but you weren't there, so.
And you can just see on Tony's face, he's like, dude, kid, you don't even understand, dude. You don't know what we've been through.
Exactly.
You know? And, so Tony dies, and basically after that, it's all just wrap up, you know?
Yeah. Everyone, just closure for a lot of people. Especially Cap.
Especially Cap. I mean, Cap gets to,
he is chosen. I'm sure he volunteers to. He returns all the stones to the original place.
He knew what he was doing. But he knew he had fixed everything. He knew there was a chance to get his wife back, or to have a little bit of life that he lost.
Well, he said, I wanted to try that life thing Tony was talking about.
Yeah, because he says, I think we both need to get a life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, so they're waiting because they teleport into the quantum realm, Captain America does, and they're waiting for him to return, and it never does. And then Bucky turns around and sees someone sitting on a bench.
And you can tell it's Steve, but he's thin.
Yeah, and at first I thought it was young Steve before he
I thought
became...
it was too, but I was like, I immediately thought, like, why? Why would he come back younger?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like that kind of guy to me.
Yeah. But
and then so you go over.
It's old man Steve.
Yeah.
Which was, he's got a wedding ring on. He's all happy.
Oh, so good, dude.
And then Falcon walks up to him and says, I don't know what it's going to be like without a Captain America. And then he goes, well, here, this is for you. And he gives him the shield, so.
After 10 fucking years, I was right.
Yeah.
I have said since day one that Falcon was going to become Captain America.
I said Winter Soldier.
Captain America. And you and 100% of other people have been like, Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier. And I'm like, it's not going to be him. It's going to be Falcon. And I was right. And I'm so happy, dude. I don't think you understand how
long you were so excited.
That has been.
Yeah.
I was almost as excited about that because I don't know what it is. It's just like I held true to that for 7-8 years. I held true to that.
Yeah.
Man. I literally have a bet with a dude that I don't even talk to anymore. I might text him, just be like, I won. Just so you know. I don't remember what the bet was for. I don't know what I was supposed to win, but I won.
That's funny.
Just because I just find that really interesting. I was so proud of them that they did that. Because I think the Winter Soldier thing was just obvious.
Yeah.
It was so obvious that everybody thought that's what it was going to be.
To be fair, that makes their TV show more interesting now.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think they're going to have a movie. They might have a movie, Captain Falcon.
Nah. I think they set that up for the
Falcon.
I think that's Captain Falcon. I'm excited to see that his redesign. It's going to be dope.
Oh yeah, it should.
Dude, and him with the shield is really cool. Like the stuff he does with it. Oh, by the way, we learned that his wings can totally murder people.
They're made of.
He totally that one
impaled
gorilla.
One of the gorilla things.
Oh man.
Yeah, and the movie ends with Cap dancing with Peggy as a.
That was a really nice ending, if you ask me. We also get what I think is one of the saddest scenes in the entire movie, and the one that really pushed me to like almost breaking out was when Happy is like talking to Tony's daughter.
This was at Tony's funeral.
After Tony's funeral.
It was really cool. They did a bouquet of flowers floating down the river, but his first arc reactor.
And it has a thing written around it.
Proof Tony Stark has a heart.
Exactly. And what's it called? But he's like, what do you want? And she says cheeseburgers. And that's exactly what Happy
got Tony Stark when he got back from the cave and stuff. I want a burger.
Man, that fucking hit me hard. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I can remember that press conference when he's sitting in front of the podium. You remember that?
Yeah.
And he's eating the.
Oh,
he
that
says
one.
Iron. Dude, there's so many freaking connections and parallels. I am so proud that this movie exists.
I am so happy to be a part of it.
good. I'm so glad I spent 10 years preparing for this. Mm-hmm. It was so worth it.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you. This last week, I've been anxious. I've been excited. But mainly, I've been fearful that they'd fuck it up.
Right. Well, they didn't.
They went above and beyond, and they crushed it.
Yep. Obviously, it's a 6 out of 6, so a full snap from us.
Oh, without a doubt, dude. It's not even worth.
It could honestly be a 7 out of 6.
I'll let you know. I have this thing.
We sleep on them.
Yeah. We sleep on it, but right now it's number 1, and I think I'm gonna wake up in the morning, and it's gonna be higher than number 1. It's gonna
number 0.
It's gonna be
honorable mention.
It's gonna be number 1, and I don't think it's ever gonna get passed. And that's not. That's not just because it's this. It is the fact that this movie is a culmination of 10 years of different movies, and now I want to do nothing but go back and watch the entire MCU.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
because
I'll probably do that with Brooke.
I want to be prepared. I want to watch the whole thing and be prepared for this final. You know what I mean? Just because just like I want to watch Game of Thrones again when season 8 ends.
Oh, right.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. I think it's really powerful when movies can grab your attention and your emotions and everything. And when you can consistently hold someone's attention and care for characters over this period of time, that's just really powerful.
Yeah.
Really interesting. It is. It's special. It's. I'm just glad they did it. And DC, take notes, because listen, if you wanna have spectacular moments on screen, nothing DC does in the next 10 years will come anywhere close to where fucking Iron Man is holding Mjolnir and he says, "Avengers assemble."
You mean Captain?
Who did I say?
Iron Man.
My bad.
No, but that one moment is something we've been waiting for.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I will
like
say,
I said, greatest
the second saddest scene, the one that really almost made me cry, was when Peter gets back to school and his face is all red, and then his fucking Ned starts crying, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, yeah, Ned. Dude. Can you imagine what Ned's been going through? Oh my, his best friend, who is a superhero, is dead, and all his superhero friends are dead, and all his friends are possibly dead.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah. And just like, I love how they like start with their handshake and they just eventually just go into a full hug because they're just like, oh my god, dude, it's so good to just see someone normal, you know? And I think that's what Far From Home is going to be about, just getting back to normal.
Yeah, being a kid again.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I lost it the most with the end Iron Man, or not end Captain America stuff.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Like him coming back as an old man, and
he was
so happy.
It was joyful too.
He was so happy, and you just felt for him.
And I just want that. That's what I want in life, is to be that happy and to care for that much about somebody. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing I can say is, what do you think comes from here?
Fuck. Oh, as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, if that's not the title of the movie, that's disappointing. It needs to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's perfect. As Guardians.
And I'm excited to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's what they're implying.
So Thor basically gave up being king. He gave Valkyrie command of New Asgard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
we had a great woman scene, by the way.
That was so cool. People were like, Captain America, the first lead woman. No.
You got to think.
That ensemble right there.
Women in it held it down,
Absolutely.
Long before Captain Marvel.
And right there, that ensemble, that's the most strong women characters together ever. Yeah. And they said she's not alone. And my heart exploded. I was like,
well, because that's exactly what Scarlett Johansson said in Infinity War. She's like, she's not alone.
Man.
Because it was Scarlet Witch.
If that scene wasn't so fucking cool, I would probably be bawling my eyes out. That was so good, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
Again, you have to see all of them, or you're not going to get the shit.
Yeah, I know.
So good. I feel so privileged to be a fan.
I felt rewarded.
Absolutely. I felt rewarded for spending
so in
10 years.
In short, go see this.
Yes.
If you're going to go, don't go to the bathroom. Don't be like prepare. You know, it's a long
spoonful
movie.
of salt, one water. That's it. That's all you get.
Yes. Or drink a soda. Soda doesn't make you pee as much. Compared to water or tea or juice.
Or beer. Beer makes you drink a lot. Pee a lot. Coffee. If you drink a cup of coffee before this, you're a maniac.
Yeah. And bring tissues if you cry easily.
And if you're really connected to this universe, and you care, and you're an easy crier, yeah.
Oh, and also, surprisingly, no end credit scene.
Yeah, there's no end credit scene. There is a... dude, I have to give full credit to the dude sitting next to me. He is a genius.
He figured it out.
So...
we think anyway. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
No, that's absolutely what it is. So at the end, it's the Marvel Studios thing, and then you hear ting, ting, ting. And I was like, for some odd reason, I was thinking in the future, and I was like, they still have the stone. They put the stones back, right? But I was like, maybe that's, what's it called? I thought it was maybe the dwarf guy forging something new or interesting, or I thought it was maybe some character that I don't know about, or maybe Adam Warlock or some. I was thinking of something, right? The guy next to me goes, "Oh yeah, that's Iron Man in the cave," and I was like, "I'm an idiot. That would have taken me days." And the guy figured that shit out immediately.
Yeah,
so and he nailed it. Scene. So yeah, it was a great ending to it. It was like a little. If you want to stay for that, you can.
Which I'm kind of glad they didn't, because it is in game. Like, you shouldn't be worried about what's next. Just worry about...
It feels like the perfect close.
End to that. That's the end for a lot of those characters.
Absolutely.
At least the originals. Most of them, anyway.
And you know what? 4 years ago, if you would have told me there was going to be no more Iron Man and no more Cap, I would have been devastated. Mm-hmm. But they have built an ensemble that...
they've passed the torch perfectly.
Absolutely.
Black Panther.
Absolutely.
And...
I'm excited about Black Panther. I think he's going to be the new leader. I think that's that whole scene where Cap is looking at him and he comes out and he's like, "I got you, pal." Mm-hmm. I think that was the passing of the torch. Like, you are now the leader. I'm going to do this right now because I'm badass and I got half a shield and a fucking hammer, and I'm going to say Avengers Assemble, but you're up next, dog.
Yeah.
Man, what a killer movie.
Yes.
Amazing. We will cover this more next week.
Yeah, we'll probably see it again.
We'll probably do a combination movie where we talk more in depth about themes, things that we saw, interesting things,
connections,
what we think's coming up next.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
This is just
instant take,
in the moment, all emotions out.
Amazing
review.
Wow, lived up to everything.
Surpassed.
Okay, buddy.
All right. Time to go sleep.
Absolutely.
Dude. It is 1 a.m.
It is 1 a.m. And I'm going to upload this shit right now.
Yep.
All right, dude.
All right.
See you next week.
Out. See you.
Patreon stuff. Check that out.
We'll have more on the next episode. But
yeah, I'll give you the full list of everything, the tiers and everything. And like I said, first tier is going to be $1. We're looking forward to literally $1, and you get the Q&A. So... and you get access to like all this other stuff we're gonna do, and I mean all this stuff will normally come out. You just get to see it first. That's it.
Yeah,
no worries.
And we'll start doing some like shorts or maybe some like gameplays or something. Yeah, it depends on what we have time for. Summer soon. So.
Yeah, we have a bunch of ideas bouncing around on exclusive content that we want to give out. Less movie stuff, more other stuff.
Yeah,
because we're gonna cover movies, and we have plans for Hobbs and Shaw, and we have plans for. Detective Phoenix Pikachu is coming up. Detective Pikachu. So we're gonna be up with all that stuff, and I'm pretty excited because we got summer movie season coming up, and
this was the start.
We planned this perfectly to where we caught the good movies, Spider-Verse, Venom, not good, but it was popular.
Shazam, Captain Marvel,
Shazam, all that stuff. But we had time to get the Marvel movies taken care of before Endgame. I mean, and now we get to have fun just doing everyday movies, and then we get Spider-Man Homecoming. We get the future of the MCU.
You know what? If you don't have time to watch all the Marvel movies, just listen to our recaps.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far somehow,
that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It'll catch you up.
Yeah. All right, sweet man.
Adios, man.
Goodbye.
We're in the end game now.